Hey, Dan Meyer here, and today I'm going to talk to you about two of the most popular project management tools for those working from home or working in virtual teams, Trello and Asana. So we're going to do kind of a side-by-side comparison and do some pros and cons with the two apps. So I've used both, although I use Trello much more frequently, but I have several of my team that use both, and a lot of them do like Asana. But for me, Trello is cool, and I'll explain why. And just to kind of put things in perspective, I've got a virtual team. I've got about 40 employees right now working remotely for clients in the US, and my team is based in the Philippines. I also have another half dozen employees here in the US also working remotely, and we all use Trello. And many of us use Asana. It really depends on what our clients are using. And the idea is that we manage a lot of projects. Some of the things are ongoing projects that are like job duties. Some are short-term projects. Some things have a certain deadline that we want to make sure we're giving the client updates on. We want to make sure we're meeting all our deliverables. We're managing it like a project. So project management tools are something pretty important. And then for me, in my background, I was a project manager at one point in my career. When I was at Wells Fargo, back when I first started Wells Fargo, one of my first jobs was project manager. And I was responsible for doing things like migrating a bunch of files from paper to databases. I also did a lot of managing the website. There's a lot of projects involved in that. And then, of course, when I was an analyst and working for the bank to be able to help develop our remittance product for money transfers, a whole lot of projects in that. And I wish I would have had Trello back then. I could have been much more efficient and much more optimized with something like Trello or Asana. So if you think about the top project management and virtual collaboration tools, there are a lot out there. If you just Google project management tools or virtual collaboration or virtual team tools, you're going to get a variety of things. And some of the top ones are Asana and Trello. Other ones like Slack and Wrike and Smartsheet, EventNote. There's also another popular one called Monday. I've used some of these a little bit, but Trello is the one I've been using for probably about 3 or 4 years now. I'm pretty sure I was an early adopter. Like when Trello first launched, I was one of the first people that came across it and got my team to start using it. And I love the idea of Trello being like a giant place to post ideas and to arrange projects. So, but whatever you use, the software is really important because it gives you the ability to not just plan projects, but allocate resources and build schedules. It's very, very helpful for teams that are collaborating virtually to be able to all go there and to make changes to keep you updated. You can also do a fair amount of idea sharing. You can do some chatter, messaging back and forth. You can tag each other. You can do things. This is common across all the tools, not just Trello. The idea is that they're built for the idea of virtual teams, of people working remotely. And even some people that work in offices still use these project management tools to help them be more productive. Although you see more and more of these tools are being used predominantly by people that are working from home or working remotely most of the time. One of the cool things about Trello is that it's really based around dragging and dropping. And I like Trello mainly because it looks like a giant Post-it note board, right? So every time you have a new idea or you want to build columns where you have a header and the different ideas in a column, you want to rearrange things, you want to quickly drag and drop things to be able to move them around. You want to easily copy things to be able to replicate things or use templates. Trello is amazing in this. And Trello allows you to really kind of get all your ideas together. It's the best place I've ever seen for brainstorming. It's even better than a whiteboard because you can edit it as you go and you can move things around much easier than you could if you're actually writing it on a whiteboard. Asana, very similar, but much more structured with less of the drag and drop feature, where Trello is designed to be like a giant Post-it board with Post-it notes. Asana is more of a traditional like row by row based graphic setup. So it's if you've ever used Microsoft Project or if you've ever done project plans in Microsoft Excel, you probably are going to be more familiar with Asana. I like the idea that I think people that use Asana are probably people that have project management experience and have been working in project management for a while, whereas Trello may be more people that are more creative, a little bit more into things like marketing and sales, and they want to be able to kind of brainstorm stuff in a much more organized way, whereas people that use Asana tend to be thinking more logically. That's not always the case, but I find that to be the difference. As far as user experience, though, Trello is much, much bigger. In fact, Trello, to the best of my knowledge, is the biggest project management tool out there. They have over 50 million users, and at any given time, there's 1.1 million people using Trello. 45% of their business comes from overseas. I have team members in overseas, and I've worked for multiple locations around the planet and have had no trouble ever accessing Trello from wherever I'm at. So Trello is very, very powerful. Asana is more designed for organizations. They do have about 1 million free users, but their bread and butter is for virtual teams or people working remotely, or even people in the same office wanting to have a project management tool. They have about 50,000 paying organizations that use Asana, and it's available pretty much everywhere in the world as well. So really it's a matter of, again, what is your organization used to using, or what have you used in the past? If you're really well versed in something like Asana, then maybe you stick with it. But if you're kind of looking for something new, I would definitely encourage you to use Trello unless you've got a project management background or a lot of your team are people that are very logical thinkers who love to see columns and rows. Then you're probably going to enjoy Asana more. Trello is really, really cool because you can set it up for free with no credit card. It's got an iPhone app and an Android app, and I love the iPhone app. I actually do more on my iPhone app, Trello, than I do on the desktop or laptop. There's no limits to the number of people you can invite to a board, and it integrates easily with Google Drive. It does not have an export for the free plan, and there is size limitations for the free plan. So it's really, if you don't have a ton of data, if you're looking for more collaboration, if you're not going to upload a bunch of files, Trello is definitely a good way to go. On the flip side, Asana also has a free trial without a credit card. They also have apps on Android and iOS, so very similar there. And they're possible to do a lot of different tasks in one place, and it's free for small teams, up to 15 users. After that, you have to start paying. They also have some automation tools. Asana's automation tools are pretty cool. I think Trello actually just launched a bunch of new automation tools to kind of compete. Some of the cons of Asana, that tasks assigned to only one team member. It's hard to have multiple people work on one thing. This is a thing that Trello doesn't hold you up on. Trello can have multiple people working on individual tasks. And the interface, again, with Asana can be a little overwhelming if you don't like looking at rows and columns. If you really have the imaginative idea, if you're somebody who really likes to visualize things, then Trello is probably better. That's pros and cons. As far as pricing, they both have a free version. They both have a monthly business version for $10, and they both have big business or enterprise-wide ones for about $20. So they're pretty much equally priced, and you'll find this is true across other project management tools. I see a lot of people using Monday. There's another one. I didn't talk about this in this conversation, but maybe a future version. I will mention Monday.com. It also has similar features to Asana and some things that Trello does. A little more expensive, not quite as big a fan of it. These are the two that I think are the best. Now, one thing I want to share with you as you develop a project management software, or not, as you actually put into use a project management software, you want to think about how you want to use it in your routine, right? So I'll share with you how I do it in mine, right? I have a very set routine every day. I get up at the same time. I always get up right out of bed. I always exercise or walk in the morning. I always eat healthy. I just basically check emails before I do too much in the day. I don't answer a lot of emails. I block off time later in the day to do that. I try to get organized. And one of the first things I do as I'm kind of getting my day started is to go on the Trello boards and look and see what my team did at night. Now, again, I have team all over the world, right? I have team members that are based on different parts of the planet. So there's things being done 24/7 in my business. So when I wake up in the morning, things were worked on overnight. So I want to get a sense of what happened and what's going on. I also will notice things in Trello that maybe I can focus my day on. So as I plan my day, as I think about what I'm going to accomplish, what my to-dos are, what my tasks I want to focus on, a lot of times Trello will help me guide through those. This is really important, especially if you have a virtual team or if you're looking for a virtual assistant to help, launch or grow your business. You want to think about the kind of things that you can do on an app like Trello. You can put together a conversation, a project tracking tool on Trello or Asana or Monday, And basically, you can have places where you can collaborate to do things like making sure your Facebook ads are well managed, who's doing what in social media, what your status is with certain email campaigns. Like whenever we send out our newsletter, one of my marketing team updates Trello so I can go there and look at the MailChimp results and see how many people actually received our email newsletter and what the click-through rate was and what were the most popular topics. This is the kind of stuff that I go to Trello for all this, right? So Trello becomes kind of my go-to place for information and insight to see what my different parts of my business are doing. So I have my team leaders, I have my operations people, I have my HR people, I have my marketing people. They're all working on Trello. And you can do the same on Asana. But again, I've been using Trello a long time and I'm a big fan, obviously. So whatever it is that you're trying to do with your team, what you're trying to organize, and whatever project management tool you are using, you want to kind of like organize it in ways that you have different views so things don't get too cluttered, right? You want to make sure that you're figuring out what you want certain groups to do. And one way to do that is to think about what you do every day for yourself and then what your business is doing. Now, a lot of times there's a disconnect, right? You have people in your business or you don't get to everything you want to get to do in your business. And you have things that are kind of wish list items, right? Using a project management tool to keep track of wish list items is very important. What are the things that you would do with unlimited time and unlimited resources? Keep those somewhere where you can constantly go back and refer to it. Also manage what you're actually doing and try to assign some time to it, right? How much time is it taking your team or yourself to do certain tasks? Are there ways to make things more efficient? And are there ways that you can look at peeling some of these things away? Are there certain things you wish you could do or certain things that you are doing now that you wish you didn't have to do that you could have somebody else do? This gets into the idea of virtual assistant or even building a virtual team, which is something that I've done quite well in my career, where I grew my business from me by myself to 6 people to 40 people to over 100 people working in my businesses remotely. And so the idea here is that you can use tools like Asana or Trello to help manage that organization. And it scales, right? These project management tools allow me to keep my hands in every cookie jar, but not having to really micromanage any of it. I can just pop in on different views to see what people are working on and what the status is and how things are going. And I can also get things where I'm updated myself, where people can tag me to make sure that I see certain things that are super important. And if you have somebody that you want to do this in your business with, that's great. If you don't, then I can help, right? For less than $10 an hour, you can have a virtual assistant. You can start having somebody that can manage pieces of this for you. My team is well-versed in Trello and Asana. So if you're not familiar with either one, or you're trying to train people how to use it, or you're trying to grow your business around one of these tools, I've got people that are experts in both tools. So I also mentioned, besides having a start of the day routine, I also have an end of the day routine. And again, at the end of the day, I spend a lot of time wrapping my day up on Trello, checking off things off my checklist, moving things to a completed area, archiving things. I can do that in Asana or Monday or any other tool. But again, the idea is that I wrap up my day by showing what I've completed. I'm the kind of person who really, really is motivated by completing things, right? So at the end of the day, if I've got a bunch of things that I've checked off my to-do list, I sleep pretty well. I feel pretty good. And days when I don't, days when I kind of don't get a lot done, when I'm busy all day, but don't feel like I've been very productive, I generally don't sleep very well. So I know that things that are productive for me help me sleep. And so looking at Trello before I go to sleep, or looking at Asana before you go to sleep, or whatever project management tool you are using will help you kind of have an idea of what did you accomplish during the day. It's really important. Also, it'll help you prepare for tomorrow, right? Your brain will work on things while you're sleeping. So if you kind of have that structured into your day, then your brain will work on stuff overnight. Don't overdo it. Don't spend hours every evening, trying to plan your day out, because things will change. But you can, to some extent, help you map out what you're going to do, and you'll sleep better. And of course, your team, if they're working off hours from when you are up, you're going to wake up in the morning and have things get done. There is nothing better than waking up in the morning and knowing that several things have already been done. So that way, no matter what I do, my business is still moving forward. We are still productive as a team. And that's really, really a great feeling. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today. I went over Trello and Asana just briefly, just to kind of give you some ideas, the concepts of them if they're not something you're familiar with. I strongly urge you to look at project management tools. Project management tools are one of the things, if not the most important thing in me being successful in what I've done and me being able to manage a team of 100 people from anywhere I'm at on the planet. It comes back to having good, sound project management techniques and great tools to keep my team on task. So if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comment section, or you can reach out to us. Our website is sonicva.com. That's sonicva.com, sonicva.com. Or if you want to find out more and get started with virtual staffing, you can text the word data, D-A-T-A, to 26786. For those of you in the US, text data to 26786, and you'll get some information about how to start using virtual staffing to launch or grow your business. So basically, I want to thank you for your time. I'm hoping that you find these videos useful because there are definitely things that have made me very successful in what I do. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.